welcome to a new episode of ETRetailCafe by ETRetail, where we have decided to cover 100 retailers. We have not even reached 10 till now. And we have with us Vineet Gautam today, who is the CEO and country head of Bestseller. He has covered many categories during his career of almost like 25 years. He has been to the food industry, he has been to the telecom industry, he is in the apparel industry. What next holds for him? Let's ask him. So Vineet, welcome to ETRetailCafe. A very warm welcome to you. Tell us about how has been your journey like till now, and what do you foresee for yourself going ahead?
Thank you so much, Charu, for having me on this. I think my journey has been very interesting. I've been a retailer by heart. I think done many spans of retail stints in hospitality, restaurants, telecom with Idea Cellular, and fashion. I had multiple stints with Will's Lifestyle, Benetton, and now with Bestseller. And you know, with Bestseller, we have this fantastic couple of brands that we retail in India, including Jack & Jones, Bermuda Only, Selected Om, and few more. But we can talk about that later. But it's been an interesting journey. I think retail is all about consumers, and I think that is where I enjoy a lot. It's about learning every day and trying to solve consumer problems. And I think in the fashion space also we do the same, right? It's all about solving consumers' fashion needs every day. So I think it's been a fantastic journey. Started maybe 2.5 decades back. I did my hotel management, which is a separate story by itself. And then I passed out and I did not join hotels. I started my career with the chain called Nirulas. Everyone knows Nirulas.
Why so?
I think during a stint in college, I realized that I want a little more fast-paced working space, and hotels is more a process, and I think just sticks to that. You can't invent much. It's like that. So I think I realized during my stint as part of the industrial training when we were in the college, that this might not be something as exciting as I would want to be. But I think hospitality colleges and all, I think they prepare you very well to take up many challenges in life. And I think I took up the challenge. I was part of the first management training batch Nirulas started. Nirulas is an iconic brand, you know. And I think the journey started with that, 9 months of training across all the verticals. And then I took over a restaurant for them. And then I think the journey began from them, worked with them for 2.5, 3 years, close to 3 years. And then I joined Domino's Pizza. Domino's was the fastest growing pizza chain that time. And obviously, who doesn't want to be working with Domino's that time? It was that time of the time of life, I think. So it was very exciting. I joined them and I was in the GK store, and it was one of the best performing stores and learned a lot. I think Domino's is one place I still tell a lot of people that has been the foundation of my career. I think learned a lot about even being in a store, how to run a P&L, how to manage the teams. And I think it's not an easy task. Delivering pizzas in 30 minutes is not an easy task. So I think spent a lot of time there, took over a store myself, became a store manager. One of the best top performing stores in Delhi, I took over and became a store manager. And it was a journey, I will say. I've slept in the restaurants. I've not gone home for days. And I think then when you're young, you really enjoy it also. But also learned a lot. I think that was, I still say, as a foundation of my career. Then moved on. Cafe Coffee Day was launching in Delhi. Coffee Day that time was the first. There was no Starbucks. There was nothing else. It was only Coffee Day. And they gave me an opportunity to start Delhi as a market for them. So it was quite interesting. Opened about 6 cafes with them. Somehow it did not work for long. It was a very short stint of 6 months. And then I joined the best apparel chain in this country called Will's Lifestyle. They had just started. And I was given a task to take over a store in Lucknow. So went to a new city. Didn't know much about it. I've never been to Lucknow before that. The store did very, very well. We were one of the best retail stores there in the apparel segment. Came back to Delhi with them, worked in their CP store and a few more stores, started distribution business for them. And then I think as luck would have, switched my whole career to telecom. I went to join Idea Cellular in the Delhi circle as the head of retail for them. Very exciting. It was a franchisee-driven business. Partners were there. And telecom that was time was booming, and Idea had just emerged as a new brand. Almost was part of the early launch of the brand by itself, and it was fabulous. So spent few years, and then was called in to move to the corporate office to head retail across India, which was about running 14 states for them. And it was amazing journey. Started new states, amalgamated many different brands, because Idea was a combination of many brands. Standardized their own entire retail process. So spent 5.5 years, and then I moved to United because of Benetton, back to Delhi.
And back to apparel again.
Back to apparel again. I think there was calling. I think somehow apparel has its own fun. I will say it's a business where you're learning every day, and I think every day there's an opportunity to do something better. It's not that it's not there in all industries, but they are more in a restaurant also. The food is set, the menu is set. You have to just keep repeating and delivering. Telecom is also, it's purely a process business. But I think apparel is very exciting, especially the fashion side of apparel is very, very exciting. Joined Benetton to manage their retail business, and did a very rapid expansion for United Colors of Benetton. Spent 2.5 years with them. And I, one fine day, got a call from a consultant based out of UK. And he said that we are trying to find someone for Bestseller. And I said, okay, the moment you hear Bestseller, no one knows Bestseller, right? I think it's very difficult today also for people to know what Bestseller is, but I think the industry now knows what we are. And I said, okay, but I don't have any interest in books. Because Bestseller, that's how you think, right? I said, oh, they're a fashion company, fast fashion company, and I didn't know about that also. So I thought, okay. And internet was not as big as this, that you could Google everything and find out. So I called up a friend, he used to work in Dubai, and I said, can you go and check out? And so he recommended. Things worked out. I joined Bestseller. Bestseller was 4 stores that time. And I think it's been 13.5 years I've spent here now. It's been my longest stint ever in any company. But it has been an amazing journey. Creating these amazing brands. We are almost kind of a market leader in many segments. And I think it's a very proud feeling to create the organization, create the team, the brands, and being able to create a mark in the industry. I think it's been fantastic. I think we have a fabulous team who's supported all through. Many of us started when we were almost like 4 stores or 3 stores, and till now continue in Bestseller. And I think the journey next few years is also going to be exciting. I don't know if I'm moving somewhere else. No, because that's what you asked. I think there's so much to accomplish here, so much to do. Fashion is such a big space, and I think fashion in the last few years is also changing very fast. I think India is becoming more fashionable. People are becoming more fashionable. And I think there's so much space for us to grow and do so many new things. And now with technology coming in and doing so much, I think there's everyday learning. And every day, I think I get up with saying, okay, we can do one thing more better. So I think till the time that passion is driving, I think I'm here. I don't think there can be another better job than Bestseller for me.
So Vineet, you have been we have worked in various categories, various niches. I mean, you must have taken some learnings from here, from there, and must have implemented at Bestseller. So what were those learnings which have actually helped you grow Bestseller here in India?
So I think, and I will pick up each of them. I think if I look at it from my stint with Nirula's, I think it was creating those hero products, the hot chocolate fudge. I think the world loves it. Everyone in India has somehow ever had the hot chocolate fudge. So I think about creating that hero product on which you can actually carry the whole brand. Domino's was about processes, how to run stores profitably, managing teams, how to allow local decision making in the store, allow the store managers to be responsible and run the stores like an entrepreneur was very, very big learning. I think with the telecom, it was the scale. How do you scale up? Because we opened about 1,200 stores in about 2 years. The scale is completely different. And I think a large part of that scale up I have tried to implement here. And I think Benetton, obviously, understanding the fashion category, how to create landmark stores. I remember in Benetton, and also I'd opened that store in Bangalore, right opposite the Garuda Mall. It was one of an icon that time. And then when we came down to Bestseller, it was creating the Linking Road store landmark, or the South Extension store that we used to have. Now we've shut that store, but there are multiple stores that we've created. So I think each journey has made you learn something. But I think the most that I think I've learned everywhere and it stays consistent is ensuring you have a great team. I think great people deliver great results. And I think we've tried to create a great team in Bestseller. And I think that's where we've been able to scale to what levels we are in 13 years in India.
So when you say a great team, you must have built it from the scratch. You must have, I mean, added some ethics to the team that should be flown through to the generations coming ahead. If the company, I mean, is going to stay for a long time in India that way. So what are those ethics that you're weaving into the team and how it is helping you grow here in India?
So I think Bestseller is a very unique company. Bestseller was founded by Truls, and when he founded the company, he laid down 10 principles of Bestseller. And I think those principles are very easy principles, but I think we use them on a daily life, and they help us in managing the business and people every day. So I think we use that as one benchmark. And then we very jokingly call that we are the odd people. So we only hire odd people. But for us, odd means own, dare, and deliver. And I think those value system that we built, we live for it. Actually, we hire for it. We train people on that framework. We review people on that framework. And I think it is like our own DNA. It's built into us. And I think this ODD as a concept remains with us. And every time that we are trying to do something, we think in a way, have we dared enough? Are we going to deliver the best? And I think ownership comes when you run an organization like an entrepreneur. While Bestseller is owned by someone else, but I take full ownership of as much as I think Anas would do or anyone else would do. So I think it's a beautiful company. The structure, the way they allow people locally to run the company, they run the brands. I think it's fabulous. I have not seen in many MNCs that you can run this as much as we can run it locally. So I think it's a fabulous company. And I think this is the culture that we are trying to build. I think I can say we are quite successful there in a way. But there's every day a new learning. But I think the world is changing around us. The new generation is changing around us. So I think now we have to introspect and see what is ODD for them. Because we've spent a generation here, right? The new generation, they think differently. The new Gen Z, the millennials, they think very differently. So I think while these principles and the value systems remain same, it needs to evolve over time. And I think that's what we're trying to do.
So you have been into the industry from past 25 years, almost 25 years. How have you seen the consumer behavior changing? How are you changing the brand to match that changing consumer behavior?
So I think consumers in India specifically, I think one thing remains consistent, and this has been the same for many, many years that I've seen, that you continuously need to deliver value for money. If you cannot deliver value for money, and I'm not saying cheap, I'm saying value for money. So every brand can stand for some value and they need to deliver that. If you're delivering that, whether it is Nerula's or it was Domino's Pizza, or it is Bestseller brands, I think we've always ensured that the consumer that we stand for, we have to give them the value for money. In the fashion space, I am seeing a lot more change in consumer behavior, where I think newer trend, faster trends, consumers are as understanding of the new trend as brands are, and I think maybe sometime more. I think today's digital consumer, and especially in the last 10, 12 years, how digital has changed. I think the consumer knows more than us sometimes, I believe. And I think it's always for us now to catch up, right? So there was a time when telling consumer what fashion was important, what trend was important. Today, I don't think it's about telling consumer this is a trend. Each of the segment of consumer decides their own trend, right? And I think being relevant to them is so very important. Hence, your entire brand DNA, the ethos, the value system of the brand, the consumer promise of the brand needs to be very, very sure, because the customer knows about it. And I think the one thing that I've learned in all the years is, I think, don't lie to your customer, right? They are smarter than what we think, and which is fantastic, right? And I think if you keep true to that and you're true to your consumer, I think 9 out of 10 times you will deliver. There will be one off times when you disappoint the consumer, which will happen because we are in a consumer facing business. But if you're staying to to your value system, and I think the consumers understand it. Today's brand marketing is about consumer promises, consumer delivery, and it's not about these large hoardings around. So I think this is what the consumer I have seen it swing. But the consumer today is also consuming a lot digitally. So they are looking at every aspect of digital and consuming data and consuming a lot more information. And I think they want the brands to deliver for it.
So technology is one thing which is actually helping you to understand your consumers going ahead. So when you talk about technology, Metaverse, AI, ChatGPT are the new words, which is there on everybody's talking about that, and everybody wants to know about it, experiment about it. What is your say in this thing?
So I think there's so many things. Chatbots, I think, are not new. They have been there for many years, I think, but they become mainstream. I think all brands, companies have tried to figure out what can be automated through chatbots. Because chatbot does not work without standard processes. So there's some part you can put it to chatbots and they can manage wherever. It also allows you speed and accuracy because that's a process. I think that has settled well. Then I come to Metaverse. I think it's a very hyped. It's too hyped, in my view. I think especially and I will talk Indian consumer because the consumer in every part of the world is different. The Indian consumer today is still a customer who's trying to drive aspiration. They have so many aspirations, right? We're a country of aspiring people, right? In today's time, they want the next Jack and Jones t-shirt or a shirt or the next Bermuda dress or the top or the only denim. They want to own it. They want to wear it and be seen. Right? They don't want to own a digital space which you can put it on your Instagram and that's it. I think it's too far. Will it be reality? Yes, maybe 100% it will be. Some aspects of it will be, and we are also trying to do some part of it. But that's a very small consumer segment. But I think this will be a convergence of a metaverse and reality. And I think we've tried to do this with something is called Jack and Jones Unmatched, where we have a full studio where you can visit on a metaverse. You can have a AI set on yourself and you can be inside the store, like augmented reality, and you can buy, you can shop. But end of the day, you don't get digital products, you get real products, right? Because that's what you want to wear and be seen around, right? I think so. It needs to be, every brand will have to find it. Yes, if it's a very high-end brand, which a lot of people cannot. So they will definitely want, can I have a small piece of X brand or a Y brand? But in a brand like us, in which we are operating, I think people will like to own it up and wear and be seen with them. And then the last part, which is now getting very big, AI. And I think it is fantastic. What AI can do today, I think many of our human brains cannot do with the same accuracy. So I think wherever it is being used to standardize processes, I think run data, mine the data, come up with solutions, I think it's going to work beautifully. It could also design, I'm sure. But end of the day, the inspiration of all designs are coming from data available on internet. So I don't know who owns the data, right? Who owns the design? Do I own the design? Does the AI platform own the design? So I think that there's a lot of ambiguity around it. I'm sure I see a lot of governments coming up with new guidelines on it. I think it will also settle. But I will say it is not going to change anything from the consumer side. What it's going to change is for organizations, where you could actually automate some processes. You could actually mine the data more better. You could actually use this while taking good decisions. So I think it will be a combination of human versus with AI. Will AI take over everything? Maybe not. But will it help us become better humans? 100% it will help us become better humans.
So we are living in a fear where many people fear that AI might take their job. What if AI takes your job someday? What will you do?
I just want to find an AI that can take up my job. It would be nice. The multiple things that we have to go through in today's world. But I don't fear it. I think technology is something that everyone needs to embrace. And I think from a company's perspective, I'm not talking to consumer, all companies in today's generation need to be tech companies in some way or the other. So I think AI, all this machine learning are going to be a very important part of our lives. will it take up jobs? Maybe it takes up some mundane jobs that are actually not required by humans to anymore do, because see, our quality of living is also improving, our minds are also improving. So why do you need humans to keep doing those mundane jobs that can be done by bots today or something, or by machines? And I'm sure those humans will evolve, they will learn, and I think they will try to do things better. End of the day, humans only developed AI, right? The AI didn't come up with themselves. So I'm sure the humans will evolve, and they will find more things to do or to use the technology better. But I think all companies will have to evolve around this. You cannot escape it.
So Vineet, you understand your consumer in a very well manner. If I talk about technology, you have started experimenting with Metaverse, which is a new age thing, and you're catering to young people actually. So what is the way ahead for the brand that you have decided, and how do you see, where do you see the brand 5 years from now?
Oh, wow. I think 5 years is a long time in fashion. It's so difficult to say. And I think the world around us is changing also very fast. So it's very difficult to say 5 years. But I can tell you in 3 to 5 years, what could happen is, especially for our brands, I think we are anyways, brands are very popular brands, especially in the youth segment. And I think what we'll do, the brands will expand through categories. We will also expand and get into the real India, right? Today we retail Jack and Jones out of 150 cities in the country. There are very few international brands who have been able to do it. So I think we will concentrate in those markets and also penetrate more markets. India is not a country of 150 cities. India is a country of 500 cities. So I think that's going to be our next driving force, because today with the internet, I think every part of India is aspiring to buy fashionable products. Right. So for us, it's about figuring out how can we fulfill that demand. Some part of the demand will get fulfilled through online, but consumers in India still want that touch, feel, try, and I think we've seen whenever we've opened stores in markets, our online sales in those markets have also grown, because the consumer is able to try, they know what to wear, and buying a new brand is a very different experience. And I think our country, we love experiences, right? So I think people will continue to work with brands that are available both offline, online, and so I think this convergence is helping. The Omni strategy we all talk about, which I think we've been talking for 20 years or 10 years at least, I hear, and today it's come reality.
But right? COVID has accelerated that.
Yes, yes, for sure, because earlier we could easily manage through some warehouses and manage it. But then the consumer wanted it fast. And I think, I believe, while I know COVID has been tough and has been very tough for many people and the countries and the economy, I think for us, COVID was a catalyst. It actually allowed us to think out of the box. It allowed us to look at what is the opportunity that we can get through. Because we were finally shut down for a few days, a few weeks, right? We had nothing much to do. So I think that allowed us to think, introspect. Especially for our brands, we've grown actually very rapidly post-COVID. Also, the acceptance of the brand is very large, and it hence, I think 3 to 5 years from now, we should be double of what we are today.
So Vineet, when you say that wherever you have opened the store, the online sales have also increased over in that area particularly. So can we say that consumers are looking for discounts, because online is why do they go to online? Because they look for discounts. So they maybe go to your store, check the products, and then look for it's the same product at discounted rate.
No, I think for us, the same product is not available on discounted rate. So we control the whole value chain. Okay. So we own our own stores, we own the entire online ourselves. So we do not sell out, or we'll put, if there's a discount, we have put it, and we are very sure that it's what we want to do. So if you walk down to a small store, let's take an example of Hisar in the north. What merchandise you will see at the price, you will see the same price across the country, including online. So that does not happen. But yes, there are customers who will try and then maybe go buy online, or maybe buy it when we are on discount. But it also happens the other side, right? You see the brand, that time you don't take the decision to buy, but you end up in the store and say, okay, I saw this, can I buy this now? Because I can feel, touch, and so I think it's both ways. If that was the case, then only online sales will grow, retail sales will not grow. So I'll give you an example of a market in Jalandhar. We have, in a small circle in Model Town, we have about 42 shop-in-shops of ours, and we didn't have a store there. And we have online sales that do quite well in Jalandhar. And then we opened a store, and a decently large store. We opened, I think it's a 500 square meter store for all our brands. Our store is doing fabulous. Our shop-in-shops are growing, and online sales are also growing. So I think it helps because consumers also want to experience the brand. It's just not seeing the brand. I think the experience overall ensures that the stickiness to the brand is higher, and I think it helps you perceive the brand in a way. So I think it is complementing in a way, I'd say.
So when we talk about stores these days, stores, we have heard many times that stores are going to be like for experience only. They'll be the experiential centers and no longer just for going and picking up the stuff. So what are the innovations that you talked about, the other innovations which are happening at the back end? What innovations are you planning to introduce at the store front also?
So I think stores need to also become more digital. From my perspective, and something that we are very strongly pushing, today, you go to an online store and you will see a personalized assortment for you, because it's very easy to identify you in an online space, right? Because of social media, XYZ, people know who you are. And you log in also to provide your own details. So you give you assortment. But when you come to a store, which is very painful because you have to find parking, you have to still come in, you have to take time out, you are not getting a personalized experience. You get an experience which is far different than online, because here someone is helping you, telling you what is right, but it's not a personalized assortment for you. So I think for us, the problem to solve is how can we do that, right? So we're doing a lot more. Some part I can't share, but our stores will be a lot more digital stores in the future. Will it only be done for experience? No. We are doing it for commerce. We want to sell from the stores. And I think post-COVID, our sales in stores have also gone up. So I think we are still very confident that retail is the way forward, but it will be a much more experiential, much more digital experience in the store that the consumers will see. And I think there will be a convergence of maybe you can put something on the basket and you can come to the store and pick it up after trying, or you do the other way. You select in the store, you put it in your basket, and then whenever you have time, you can. I think it will converge, and I think in about 6 months from now, you will see some of the steps in our stores.
Looking forward to see all those steps what you are planning to take. So now, as we go ahead, the time is running, and we are running short on time. So I have a few rapid fire questions for you, which you have to just don't think about it and answer them just like that. Which is your favorite book, business book, and why? What is the learning that you have taken from there?
I think I am not a very book person. Okay, let me be honest to you. But I think one person I think whose book I have only read is Steve Jobs. He is my role model. I think something I inspire a lot. And I think he's the only one whose books I've read, but I'm not a very book person. And I think the next person that I really think, and I think a lot of people think he's crazy these days, is Elon Musk. I think they're trying to solve problems differently. None of us thought phones could look like this and could do so much. And I think Steve Jobs was someone outside, and he said, no, it can be done. And I think same is being done by Elon Musk. I think it's those two people. I read about them, but it's not through books, but it's through a lot of digital content that I read.
Which is your favorite Netflix series?
Ooh, there are too many. I think I think I will not say it from the international one, but I'll say it from an Indian one. It's called Sacred Games. I think it was really nice. The class was almost at par with the global standard. I think it was really nice. But there are many international ones, more around narcos. So I like that.
So what if not in the retail industry?
Oh, okay, maybe something in hospitality. I think it's still close to me. It is my retirement goal to open and run a resort someday. So I think maybe that.
So Vineet, tell me one thing. Everybody knows that you are running Bestseller. You have been in retail industry for such a long time. One thing that nobody knows about you.
Oh wow, this will be difficult. I'm an open book. Everyone knows everything about it. I love fast cars, and sometimes I drive fast.
Oh, but that is not safe.
Oh, Whenever it can be done in safe environment, I can do it. Till now, I can only say I have not met an accident, so it's quite okay, I think.
Stay blessed always, that way. So last question. We have seen that new brands which are entering the arena, they are concentrating about scalability and not profitability. So what do you think is the right way for a brand to go ahead, and why?
There's no scalability without profitability. End of the day, you require money to scale. I understand this new buzzword around, I put it this way, and I joke also, called D2C these days. I think we are all D2C brand. We are all selling direct to the consumer. So I started finding a new definition of D2C. So whoever has got funding from outside is D2C, and whoever has not got funding from outside is not D2C. So I think it's like that. But I think I think it's changing. I know a lot of free money was available. A lot of people burned that free money. But end of the day, money has to be paid back. And I think successful brands are those that are consistently able to scale and be profitable. And I think COVID taught us that it's just not the top line. It is also the bottom line to survive. It is the cash flow that is important. And I think I meet a lot of them. A lot of my friends also are there. But I think, I don't know, thanks to Shark Tanks, I think everyone thinks he's going to be the next billionaire. Everyone thinks he's going to get the next venture funding or a PE fund funding him. But I think I think gone are the days of easy money. I think we've come out of those. So I think a lot more level-headed things will happen now, especially now that people know that IPOs are not the routes to go. So I think it will settle. The dust will settle over time. So, but I think you cannot run without. You must have a goal to profitability. I'm not saying you need to be profitable day one. Maybe you say it's 5 years down. It's okay with me, because then you're investing into your brand and everything. But there needs to be an end to it. And the only thing I say to everyone is, at least ensure unit economics wise you are profitable. Maybe as a business you're not profitable because you're investing into tech or brand building or many things. But unit economics wise, people need to be profitable from day one.
True that. Thank you for sharing such wonderful insights with us, Vineet. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
So it was Vineet Gautam for you today. We'll be back again with a new retailer next week. Till then, bye-bye.